Hello and welcome to iBuzz. I'm your host Nosheen Bukhari, bringing you the latest and most exciting entertainment news from showbiz world. In today's episode, we will discuss some exciting nominees for Emmys, followed by a review on the latest release, Black Widow. But first things first, let me quickly take you to the top stories of the day. Nicolas Cage's Tiger King TV drama scraped by Amazon. Loki to return for season 2 at Disney+. Oasis Knebworth documentary release date and title confirmed. WandaVision earns Marvel Studios 23 nods at the Emmys for the first time. As ill-advised as it may be, Netflix is inviting you to cook with Paris Hilton. And now moving to the top story of the day. Marvel Studios made history courtesy of their series WandaVision, which managed to dominate the Emmy nominations for this year. To discuss this further, we have film critic and entertainment journalist Jessica Fenton with us. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, as always.
So, the hit Disney Plus limited series grabbed 23 nominations for the 73rd Primetime Emmy Awards, and looks like the series is already set to, rock the event.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I mean, this is Marvel Studios' first foray into limited series. WandaVision wasn't the only one nominated. The Falcon and Winter Soldier picked up a few nods as well, but yes, WandaVision was the one that sort of dominated on behalf of Marvel Studios, which is exciting. It's exciting to see that kind of genre get the recognition that it deserves. Not just from a fan perspective. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I clearly hate Marvel. This is my office here, by the way. But yeah, so like when these Disney limited series finish, they tend to do like a behind the scenes special, and the one for WandaVision, if you are lucky enough to catch it, if you see the dedication and the attention to detail that went into recreating these eras of television, all of these nominations are 100% deserved.
Right. And stars of the show, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, and Catherine Hahn, also earned nods in major categories. What are your predictions about them?
I don't know. I think Marvel Studios should just be excited by the nominations. Like, all three actors were terrific. I think if anyone has a chance, it would probably be Catherine Hahn. But the competition over the last 12 months is so strong that, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be anyone's favorite. I should also point out that one of the nominees was for Best Original Song and Lyrics by the Lopez's, who are also responsible for all the music from Frozen. So yeah, they know how to create an earworm, and they created one for WandaVision with the Agatha song. So I think they might take it away.
Right. And also, can we talk about the first-time nominees for Emmys this year? Actress Michaela Coel, then Bridgerton heartthrob Regé-Jean Page, of course, Elizabeth Olsen, we just talked about her, the Crown actors, newcomers Josh O'Connor and Emma Corrin. And these are the first-time favorites for their lead roles as Prince Charles and Princess Diana. And then we have Anya Taylor from Queen's Gambit. So this is a big step from the Emmys. I mean, not having only the traditional nominees, but giving a space for the newcomers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. These are debutante Emmy nominees, thanks to limited series. I mean, this is the way we're watching television now, thanks to Netflix and Disney Plus and all these streaming. So all these incredible film actors or first-time actors. I mean, we're not starved for content, but these outlets are just they're just making so much. So we're pulling in actors from everywhere. We're getting first timers. We're getting, veterans that are now making their foray into television as well. And they're getting first time Emmy nominations. And it's fantastic. Just so much new talent. And they're being welcomed into people's homes. And, we're all, here in Sydney, we're all stuck at home. So we're just consuming. And it's incredible content. And Anya Taylor-Joy for The Queen's Gambit and the Crown cast, who keeps changing like every 2 seasons or so. It's sensational television. And Regé-Jean Page, more of him.
Yeah, we all want him to win, right? Okay, so Jessica, some interest nominations have come forward this year. Specifically, I'll start off with Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey that has, its space in the Emmy nominations. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the nomination goes to Oprah. She is no stranger to the Emmys. This was an interview that was watched by 61 million people globally. It captured everyone's attention. It was done incredibly professionally, and it was in great hands with Oprah. And there's a reason why she was called the Queen of Daytime Television and an incredible interviewer. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that she was going to get the nomination.
And then Meghan and Harry being the favorites. I mean, we do foresee a lot of, sunshine for this award, right?
Maybe. I mean, it puts it back in the headlines. This was an incredibly attention-grabbing interview. It created headlines before anyone even saw a second of it, and it created even more headlines after it aired. I mean, it had so many eyeballs on it, and it brought forward so many questions, and obviously everyone... It had its critics, and everyone was divided. Either you were Team Harry and Meghan or you're Team the royal family. And I think this nomination just keeps it back in the headlines, which I don't think, quite frankly, I don't think either of the parties involved want it to be, because it's for all the wrong reasons. But well, there you go.
Right. Framing Britney is second in line. The documentary Framing Britney is also a hot topic for Emmys this year. Just a day before another major hearing at Los Angeles court, Britney is back in the spotlight because of this documentary being nominated for Emmy. So your thoughts on that?
I think this documentary, I don't think it started out this way, but it's become incredibly ironic. The attention that was put back on Britney as a result of this documentary, and I saw it. Quite frankly, I didn't think it was particularly well made, but it just put so much more attention back on her, unwanted attention, and as a result of its success, more networks have come forward and gone, oh, okay, well now we're going to make our version, we're going to make our version, we're going to make our version, and you're just like, oh, just leave the poor girl alone. And this nomination is like, again, it's her name in a headline. It's in a kind of positive light, but
probably it's about the timing. I mean, it's kind of good or bad timing that she's going through, a rough patch of her life. Probably it's going to help her, or maybe not. So talking about our... Yes, please.
Small victory in being able to choose her own lawyer. So good for her.
Yeah. So talking about one of our favorite nominations, the Friends reunion. It is also predicted to be a winner without a competition. So what are your thoughts about Friends reunion episode?
Yeah, I grew up as a huge Friends fan. I lapped up this reunion, every single second of it. I loved it. It's been nominated in 4 different categories, and all 6 of the cast members were executive producers. So yeah, they themselves have gained a nomination. The headline seems to be that Courtney Cox, after 10 seasons, and this one reunion, Courtney Cox has finally got her nomination. She was the only cast member over the 10 years that didn't receive a nomination. Jen Aniston, Lisa Kudrow won apiece back in the day. So it's kind of like a nice full circle, I guess you could say.
Yeah. This year seems to be very tough competition between the streaming giants when it comes to Emmy Awards. It is predicted that some of them might either swim or sink. What do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, Netflix between all the technical categories as well as the main ones that we all know, like series and actor and actress, Netflix garnered 129 nominations. For anyone who had their doubts about streaming services back in the day and said that television was never going to die and people don't want to consume their TV this way, they can eat it. I think over the years, Netflix with The Crown and like all these new shows, like even Cobra Kai, which Netflix resurrected from YouTube, got a nomination, and The Kaminsky Method, and all these Netflix specials like Bo Burnham's Inside, which is fantastic, and I highly recommend everyone watch, has garnered a few nominations. And we've got Queer Eye and The Social Dilemma and Queen's Gambit, and I mean the list just goes on and on. It's not going anywhere. And now we have Disney Plus in the mix and Amazon in the mix, and you know, and they're dominating above the networks. So they're here to stay, and get used to it.
Yes. Do you think that there are lots of snubs and surprises in the 2021 Emmy nominations?
I don't. I think this year has got some of the strongest contenders that we've ever seen. Like I said, with I May Destroy You and Mayor of Easttown, Queen's Gambit, and now the Marvel entities, and we've got just, I think it's incredibly varied and interesting. But just these were, if you watch television in the last 12 months, these were incredible programs across all the categories, and I think it's really exciting because all of them are so strong that really it's anyone's game, and I don't think anyone would be disappointed by any of the winners. Everyone has their favorites, and they're like, what are they doing there? You know, Don Cheadle with his 98-second performance in The Falcon and Winter Soldier, even he was confused by that one. I even forgot he was in that show. But yeah, all the nominees are just so beautifully strong.
Yeah, it looks like the Emmy jury, I mean, they have been working particularly on the nominations this year. So yeah, I mean, it seems like that it's going to be a tough competition, but then again, certain people felt a little surprised on some nominations, and that's what I meant.
Oh yeah, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
There's always going to be the naysayers, and there's always going to be the, oh, but what about this person? But the truth of the matter is, these nominees, you only have 5 or 6 out of the hundreds of nominees, the thousands of hours of television that is produced. You have to understand sometimes for certain nominations, a television series itself isn't nominated. It's a particular episode, because when you're talking about series television, you've got different actors, different writers, different directors for each and every episode. So while you might sit there and go, oh, but what about this series? I love this series. It's like, you can love that series, and it doesn't mean that it's not great because it wasn't nominated. But when you have to dumb it down to a single episode to submit for nomination, you know, people miss out. You can't.
It looks like we just have to leave it to the jury, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, right?
Yes, I do not envy their job.
Yeah. Jessica, it was great talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Great. Thank you for having me.
That was Jessica Fenton. And now moving to other story details of the day. Nicolas Cage will no longer play Tiger King's Joe Exotic in an Amazon TV drama, explaining that executives think the story is no longer relevant. The Oscar-winning actor was cast as the zoo owner for a mini-series on the streaming service. He said that he had read 2 excellent scripts for the show. He also added that he thinks Amazon ultimately felt that it was material that had become past tense because it looked so long for it to come together. The series may be offered to other broadcasters and platforms, but it is still unclear whether Cage will stay on board. Disney Plus has renewed Marvel television series Loki for a 2nd season. The renewal was announced midway through the end credits for Loki's Season 1 finale, when the anti-hero's case file is branded with the stamp, Loki will return in Season 2. Starring Tom Hiddleston, joined by Owen Wilson and Sophia DiMartino. Oasis Knebworth documentary will be released in cinemas on 23rd September. The Live Forever group, who split in 2009 due to tensions between brothers and bandmates Liam and Noel, will mark the 25th anniversary of their 2 legendary shows at Knebworth Park with new film Oasis Knebworth 1996. The production will include never-seen-before concert and backstage footage, as well as interviews with the band members and event organizers. Paris Hilton and Netflix are getting into the kitchen together and hoping the result, well, still unpredictable. Neither party, however, are under the delusion that the forthcoming show Cooking with Paris will showcase gourmet grub. In fact, they're seemingly counting on it being a little bit of can't look away disaster, not unlike her viral cooking video from January 2020. And that is it from our newsroom. We will be right back after a quick short break, bringing you a review on the latest release, Black Widow. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're here to review the latest release, Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, confronts the darker parts of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. The Scarlett Johansson starrer was released worldwide on July 10th and was met with a massively warm welcome in cinemas. To review the movie, we have Jonna, who is an entertainment journalist. Jonna, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Jonna, lots of memories from the Avengers got refreshed, of course, but let's talk about the initial thoughts when you first watched this movie. What did you think about it?
I immediately, going to cinema, I loved it. I think it's a long overdue film, and it was really great to see this MCU legacy character finally get her due in her own film. I mean, it felt like it should have happened maybe 5 years ago, but it was nice to get it, better late than never.
Yes. And about the action and special effects, how well balanced did you see these two, go with the story?
Yeah, I thought special effects looked really good. Sometimes it can be hit and miss in Marvel, when especially some of the bigger things, but I thought it looked quite well. The action scenes, I think, were really well shot, well directed. Everyone was great. And it may have been a little bit overused. They could have done with maybe one less car chase scene, but apart from that, I really enjoyed all the action.
Right. And of course, no comparison, but do you think there was a similar tone from Captain America to Black Widow?
Oh, absolutely. I think the sister film to Black Widow would be Captain America: The Winter Soldier. They're both spy movies. They feel on the same playing fields. If anything, they very much take inspiration from each other.
Right. And Jonna, let's talk about the incredible female leads as found here, gobbling up some of the fiercest and best believable martial arts sequences. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was fantastic. It was really great to have. Obviously, we've had Captain Marvel, we've had Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it was really great to see these female leads used in a different way than we've seen before. And Scarlett Johansson spoke in a few interviews how in the past of the character, she has had a problem with especially action scenes where she's been sexualized and she's been there to be the eye candy. And it was so refreshing to see Black Widow in these action scenes and just be there for pure talent and just be brutal and not have her posing every 5 minutes to do her hair, and it was just actual great action scenes and great female characters.
Right. While it took far too long for Black Widow to get her own solo movie, do you think she puts her moment to good use by blowing up the patriarchy?
Yes, definitely. I think definitely long overdue. Could have been done a few years ago before Endgame, but nevertheless, great to see. It was great use of it, and I think if the film had been made maybe 2-3 years earlier, I don't think we've got the same product. I think this is the best time for a Black Widow film for it to have its full potential.
Right, and I think it is the outcome of the pressure that was built in the movie industry about women superheroes. I mean, we only had DC creating, these sort of movies, and they only had, of course, Wonder Woman. But in Marvel, it was just the sidekicks. Women were just, playing as side heroes. So it is the outcome of the pressure that was built. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the fan demand, and especially I think Wonder Woman had a massive thing to do with it. I think because everyone rushed out to see Wonder Woman for DC, it made Disney and Marvel sit back and take note, being like, oh, fans do want to see the females lead their films, because for a long time in the film industry, in the superhero film industry, there's a big belief that unless you're a white man, you're not going to make money at the box office leading a film.
Yeah.
So it was great to see Disney prove wrong.
Right. And Jonna, do you think it seems a little biased for not continuing Black Widow's solo character in a sequel? I mean, just one movie and now it's a wrap-up.
It is disappointing that unlike almost every other original Avenger got their trilogy and she only gets the one. It is bittersweet, but I'd rather get one film than nothing. But as I said, if we got it a few years ago, we may have got a trilogy, but would have been done the same, would have had the same effect. It's one of those things.
Right. And also, this was a great effort by Marvel presenting their first ever lady superhero movie. Although we just talked about it, that this was the first and the last chapter for Black Widow. Do you expect more of such movies from Marvel in future, where you see more women being empowered as superheroes?
I think definitely. Now, after Captain Marvel, after Black Widow, I think we're going to see a lot more diversity in these films. I think audiences have approved to Disney and Marvel that we'll come to see anything as long as it's Marvel and it's included in the universe. Audiences don't care who the leading name is as long as it's a good story. So I hope we've proved them, and they're going to keep showing these incredible stories, and all these different kind of heroes are going to get to come out and have their spot in the limelight.
Right. And this was Marvel's first movie to be opened in theaters after the pandemic lockdown. So tell us about the experience. How was it met, since you told that you have seen it in the movie theater? So how was the experience? What was the excitement coming from the viewers after such a long time? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I made an effort to go see it in the cinemas the day it came out in England, because I think, especially Marvel films, big action blockbusters, they don't quite hit the same if you watch them on your laptop at home for Disney Plus. So I really wanted to go see it in the cinema, because it is a community experience, and then it's like an event. And while cinemas are still running at reduced capacity here, there was quite a few people buzzing around, and all of our masks on, but it was quite a good experience, even though we were running at half capacity. But yeah, it was really great to be in that room again, see all the fans, and like feel that energy, especially the end credit scene. You could just feel everyone excited for the next chapter. Right.
And Scarlett Johansson referred this movie as awareness campaign for the hashtag #MeToo movement. How, in your opinion, this can work for the campaign?
Yeah, I saw that Scarlett Johansson said without the Me Too movement, we would have not got Black Widow. And I could understand that completely, especially because it is a film, like underneath it being Black Widow's origin story. It's a film about sex trafficking and the manipulation of young women across the world. And I think definitely it's quite a tough subject for Marvel to go at. And I think without this awareness in Hollywood and in the media, I don't think they would have been brave enough to tackle it. So I think it's from the brave people before that stood up and said, these are things we have to talk about, that it gave them the confidence to put that into the film.
Right. And from the inclusivity angle, the movie was criticized a bit. Some critics said that it lacked inclusivity and diversity. What is your take on that?
I can understand that, because it does, it promotes itself as like this amazing female, like feminist blockbuster, but but it's all the main characters are just the white people. So like it does great for female leads, but then it's still it's not diverse in the cast. So it's Marvel still have some way to come with their diversity and like actually including how the world looks in their film.
So Jonna, the movie was at the same time appreciated and criticized for being very less feminist, for the fact that the kind of costumes were given to the superhero. There were a lot of fighting scenes, which kind of gave an impression that this is a woman fighting like a man, fighting for her life, but like a man. So normally when we show women as a superhero, they're like more inclined towards men, and same thing kind of happened in this movie. What are your thoughts on that?
See, I think, especially with the fighting scenes, I think it was very, feminist with the word you used, because her fighting style wasn't dictated on like what gender she was. She was just purely fighting because this is how she'd been trained. And it was, and what I liked about this is that it didn't matter that she, you know, she was the one female Avenger. It was just, she is this really amazing badass assassin, and she does what she does. And it wasn't dictated on whether, you know, is she a man, is she a woman, this or this. I think it did something that Captain Marvel didn't do, where Captain Marvel at times felt a bit performative in its feminism. It was very much a girl power film, which is fine, but not every female film can be like that. So Black Widow was, it was feminist, but without saying it out loud.
Right. Jonna, it was wonderful reviewing this movie with you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
That was Jonna with her review on the latest release, Black Widow. And that is it from today's episode. We will be back with some more content next time. Until then, don't forget to share your feedback on the social media link mentioned down below. Take care and goodbye.